Whenever I start a project, I like to get the basic layout of my application set up. Interface Builder is a powerful tool in Xcode that allows us to visually set up the interface elements of our application. It allows you to drag and drop elements, scale them to a desired size, change properties, color, text, etc., and then set up constraints. Our interface is going to be extremely simple. It's going to contain one button. So let's go ahead and get into our interface builder by clicking on our main.storyboard file here in the project navigator. Okay, so now you see that we have a canvas here that looks pretty similar to an iPhone, right? And that's because that's exactly what it is, right? We're building these apps for iPhones. So now that we have this in full screen, you'll see that right now we're viewing this as an iPhone 8, but we can change what device that we're using to view this. So if I wanted to view it as the iPhone XS or the iPhone XR, I can set that up here. And then you can zoom in and out accordingly. Like I said, our interface is going to be very simple. We just want to have a single button on here. So let's go ahead and we're going to click on this button here at the top right that will show us our object library. Okay. So you should see a list of a bunch of different objects, and a lot of them probably look pretty familiar as you've used your iPhone and been in different apps. But we want to use the button object. Okay, so find the button in the list, or you can search for UI button here in this text field. We're going to click on it and drag it onto our phone's canvas here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put mine here, line it up to the center. You can see that we get some guides that will show us where the center of our view is. Okay, so I'll drop the button there, and now that we've got our button here, let's change our device and see how this is looking. Okay. Well, we see that as our device size changes, the location of the button kind of moves around. It's not really in a predictable place. Okay. So this is where constraints come into play. Constraints are what will allow us to set a desired location for a button and then have it be in that location no matter what device that we're on. Okay, so in order to constrain elements to a certain location, we can use our constraint buttons here at the bottom. This TIE Fighter looking button here allows you to be specific about where your object should be relative to other elements. Okay, so if I have my button selected and I click on the TIE Fighter, you'll see that right now our button is 413 points from the top of this entire canvas, 184 points from the left. Okay, so this TIE Fighter allows us to set it up relative to if there were other objects surrounding it, how close, how far it would be to these different objects. Okay, well, in our case, I just want to have my button centered. Okay, and so we're going to set up what are called alignment constraints. Okay, so the alignment constraint button here is to the left of the TIE Fighter button. So I'm going to select that, and we want to set a horizontal and vertical alignment constraint on our button. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check these two boxes, and then we're going to click here and where it says add two constraints. Okay, so you can see that that drew some lines here that is showing that our button has been constrained to the center. So now as we change our device, we see that our button is always in the center of the screen. Okay, with our button selected, let's look at our inspector pane. Now, if it's not already selected, we want to look at our attributes inspector, which looks like this little down arrow here in the center. Okay, so I'm going to select that. And now we've got a list of different attributes for our button. Okay, so you can see that we have access to its title, the text color, shadow color. We can even set an image on our button. Now let's go ahead and change the title of our button by clicking in this text field here, and let's change it to Hello World. Okay, you'll see as soon as you press enter that it will update there on the canvas, and we see that the button's title is now Hello World. Okay, so feel free to play with some of the other attributes. And in our next video, we're going to talk about how to connect our button to code.